Hi guys, I'm Kia and you're watching Cricket Fanatics magazine.
Hey guys, Khalid from Cricket Fanatics magazine here, and today we're gonna have an in-depth discussion. I'm not gonna categorize it in any particular category, but we're gonna have an in-depth discussion about where South African cricket is at the moment. I brought Alasdair in as a guest. We haven't had a chance to catch up in a long time. You guys wouldn't have seen a video from us in a long time because obviously it's been quite difficult with merging our schedules, etc. So with obviously the Proteas also playing in their ODI series and T20 series, etc. But South Africa's come a long way now. I think we have enough games and enough situations to be able to properly discuss and debate what's going on with South African cricket and where we are, where we're moving forward, how we can improve it, etc., etc., etc. So let's just start off with the current setup with the Proteas, and I want to get your analysis, Alistair, on what you think about the current situation in South Africa.
What, the coronavirus or the cricket? No. Just, I mean, obviously with the cricket, look, we've had one hell of a summer. Hey? I mean, we like England, Australia back to back, and I think it's been mixed results. We finished strongly. There seems to be, you can't just expect a team with under new management to turn things around within a month or two. And credit to Mark Boucher and his coaching team because we're starting to see results. Pieces of the puzzles are starting to fall in place. He's blooded quite a few players, very similar to when Rassie Erasmus came in with the Springboks. Very bad stage, things were dark times. The more players you blood, the more you get to see the level of where our domestic competitions are at, and we've actually been pleasantly surprised. I know you have. I know you've spoken a lot over the past few months about Jana Milan. We've both spoken about Kyle Verreynne, who've been massive standouts. There's guys that have come into the team from previous injuries, and they've put their hands up, and we're starting to have a bit of wealth of players in the batting lineup in the white ball game. And look, it's a good way to start the white ball game, seeing where in the long term some of these players can step up into the test arena. But for Boucher, this is probably the perfect training ground, so to speak.
Yeah, because I want to talk to you about that because there has been a lot of debate going around and obviously some criticism about our domestic scene and people talking about the level of domestic cricket in South Africa. And I think it's a lot of hogwash from my perspective because, I mean, if you look at the players when they've stepped up into the international scene, you can see the way Zubair Hamza batted in India, for example, and when he stepped up into that, how he batted with such confidence and how his mindset was. Kyle Verreynne, you're talking about Jana Milan. Now the thing over here is that all of these players are Cobras players. So does this have a lot to do with regards to Ashwell Prince and the way Ashwell Prince sets up his teams? And because we're talking about George Linde as well, we can throw in there in the mix, and he's done really well as well. Zubair Hamza and those guys. Is it, from my perspective, what I've seen with Ashwell and the way he deals with his teams and the way he sets up his and the demands he puts on his players and the way he created a team environment where they can flourish? I feel that yes, from one perspective, yes, it shows our strength in domestic cricket. Now, whether it's an Ashwell Prince thing or whether it's a domestic cricket thing, it's very difficult to say. But when you look at other players like Rassie van der Dussen, who's come through, you could have called a domestic cricketer before he made his Proteas debut. You can look at a guy like Heineck Klaassen, the way he's taken the move under Mark Boucher. There again, we have to talk about whether it is the Mark Boucher factor or it's the domestic cricket factor that has given him that confidence. But I can see where people's debate comes in or their criticism comes in because they have a look at other guys who have played really well domestically, like Tienus de Bruin. Eddie Moore. But Eddie Moore hasn't had a chance to go up to the Proteas setup. But I'm talking about, like, for example, with regards to Tienus de Bruin, who's played well in domestically, has dominated domestic cricket, comes to international cricket and struggles a bit. I don't think that is an indication that our domestic cricket is weak. I mean, our bowlers seem to make the transition quite quickly.
Look, the question you got to ask with Ashwell Prince is, has he prepared his premium players for international cricket? I'd say the answer is a definite yes. I was watching highlights of Kyle Verreynne's innings the other night. There were a couple of little kind of flashes of AB de Villiers. Now, AB de Villiers was a wicketkeeper. Obviously, that's a bold statement, but there's still a long way to go. But he's already got a half century off 50 balls. A lot of players in the past have taken a while to warm up. He already looks like he's comfortable in that. Facing Australia, now let's look at that Australian team. It's a pretty decent outfit. And in the ODI series, our guys they didn't just win, they won with class, and also quite an effective way of how they handled going about scoring big runs. But in the whole domestic scene, you know, we've discussed it even in the beginning of the season, and then we were quite dismayed that Kyle Verreynne didn't even make the Mzansi Super League teams, and then obviously in injury he went into Paul Rocks, and look how well he shone there with Faf du Plessis as skipper. And obviously the MSL, there was some really there was strong showings from key players, and that is a domestic competition even though it's on the international stage. With Ashwell, he was coach of Cape Town Blitz, and you had Jana Milan and Quinton opening for that team. So there's already threads along the way that are now we're seeing in the international, in the national setup.
I mean, it just gives a stronger case for why Ashwell needs to be involved with the national setup in some way, or either at SAA level or etc. But okay, that's another topic for another day. I want to talk to you about the domestic cricket and how we can maybe, if there is some problems with domestic cricket, how we can improve it. Now, I look around the world and I look around at different leagues, and you look at the Ranji Trophy, and you look at like county cricket, etc. I think with regards to South Africa, I think that our major concerns now at the moment is blooding a new, fresh, prepared test unit. And I think where the other countries have an edge against us, I'm not so sure about Australia because I don't really follow the Australian leagues, Sheffield Shield, etc.
Is decent.
Yeah, so I don't really follow that as much. But I know with the Ranji Trophy, which has like, I don't know, over 30 teams, players play from a young age of 16, 15 already. They're playing the longer format of the game. We know that in county cricket they have second divisions. I don't know if they have a third division as well, but obviously the youngsters, a lot of our youngsters go there and try in the off season and try to, like Janaman's going to go and play county cricket in the off season, and a lot of our other youngsters that are on the fringe players at franchise level, they go overseas and they try to get a little bit of game time under their belt, try to learn the longer format. So obviously with so many counties as well, it's almost double the amount of teams that we have, almost more, that triple the teams that we have at franchise level. There's a lot of more opportunities for them to actually learn the longer format. Whereas in South African cricket, I spoke to like a guy like Dayan Khalim, and I asked him what is the difference. And this is a point that you brought up that I want you to expand on, is when you spoke about why aren't our younger players playing more 3-day cricket. We used to have those kind of Colts teams that used to play like 3-day cricket in a longer format.
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, I'll take it a step further back in this great game. What the foundation was club. It was about playing for the club, not for the province. This is many, many, many years ago. The whole concept of the provincial game is still not relatively new, but it used to be you played for your club and then you got invitation to play and represent the region you played in, so i.e. the province. The whole machine of a 4-day cup and all of that obviously grew a lot during apartheid because we didn't play international sport, and that became quite an internal competition and quite insular in a way. But the whole concept of this game is it comes from the club, and you see it with the counties. It's county club, and the provincial game here, I feel that we miss out on players that may perform well for clubs, but they don't go through the right processes to get to the franchise level. and we spoke about it off air, was the 12-team provincial cup or something. There perhaps needs to be a 3-day Colt Cup or a provincial cup in a way where you're identifying the young guys and they're playing 3 days. So that's fine. Get their 3-day cricket going. And at the same time, you've got a great competition, a great platform at the beginning of the season, like the Africa Cup. So they still have that white ball cricket exposure. But those guys that form the basis of the 3-day of a Colt League, they've got the best of both worlds, and married with playing at franchise level, being invited. We've seen the Yannaman Malans coming from Africa Cup. I think he played for Northwest, and so there's a lot to be said about the bridging the gap. But there must be a form of 3-day cricket for your 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 year olds, almost the Colts, because I believe it's been done away with. I'm not 100% sure, but there's a lack of that, and that's a good step to the forward 4-day game, because we're not going to see much Test cricket until we play the West Indies in July. There's not much. It's all the white ball format, and at the moment, Protea's level is quite healthy in that format. We had a great T20 series against England. The one against Australia had highs and lows. We struggled against spin, but we've kind of righted some of those wrongs in the ODI series.
Yeah, because the problem is there with our schoolboys. The schoolboys only get to play the longer format when they reach the provincial level, and it's kind of almost like a shock to their system. We saw when our under-19 team went to India, how they got thrashed completely. They looked like amateurs. It was unbelievable. So I think there's a lot of emphasis from a school's point of view on T20 cricket, and a little bit too much emphasis on the shorter format, and not enough on the longer format. And I think that's why we're struggling in this country. I want to talk a little bit about the financial side of things, because obviously that's going to play a massive role in everything. You guys can go check out the column that I wrote a while back about the 12 province setup and how that could help club cricket. Because I don't know, you don't have to correct me here if you think I'm wrong here, or tell me that I'm crazy. But my point of view of this is, if we can get higher quality players, or top quality players, to play more club cricket, it will automatically increase the stakes in the clubs, and it will also increase the amount of exposure that they're going to get. Sponsorships will want to get involved, because obviously these are top quality players that are playing at club cricket. I feel like if we have 12 provinces, unless we're going to have an A and B team, a lot of the players that are playing at franchise level are going to be filtered out, and a lot of them are going to be filtered out into playing obviously more provincial cricket. And then from provincial cricket, a lot stronger provincial players will now want to go and play club cricket if they still want to play cricket. We look at the amount of money, the potential money that there is in the game of club cricket with regards to the CPL, the Cape Town Premier League that we have over here. There's a lot of money that's gone into it. There's a lot of sponsors and big sponsors that are going to a small T20 competition between a few teams. So if there's more money in club cricket, and I think that if there is
and
more support as well,
patrons,
yes, as well as the contracts increase money-wise, the players can earn more money in it. There's more incentive for people to play cricket in this country, and if there's more incentive to play, more quality players will choose cricket over doing other professions. But I don't know if going through my mind now, and I'm trying to think about it, I don't know if that is maybe a fantasy dream of mine.
No, it's not a fantasy dream, because one thing that springs to mind is you could have your clubs formed like they have in the subcontinent, where teams in Pakistan are owned by banks. So you have people working in corporate and they play cricket at the same time. So they have a full-time job and they earn a salary from playing. So you've got the best of both worlds. So
but shouldn't that be a league on its own?
It should be, maybe, yeah, but it could be the answer to some of the financial challenges that we have, and we've got big challenges. The coronavirus is basically, and I'm seeing it knocking down. We're seeing big events, sporting events, mass participation events, either being postponed or cancelled. It's going to it's going to huge financial implications. You may not see it now, but in 10, 12 months, it's going to have an impact. We're already struggling, and you scratch your head and you wonder what type of options do you have, or solutions. And maybe one is that clubs are taken over by an investment company, and you have leagues in their own, and these players, who are young players, do an internship or some sort. So it can actually help them. Cricket can help them forge a career after the game, but at the same time they're playing. So they're not just playing provincial, earning a salary. Some don't, some study, some do have a real job or they learn a trade. But maybe in the club format you could have that going, and then, only to a degree play the provincial game and do away with the franchise level, because a lot, in the provincial game we should have the 4-day game. It shouldn't be franchise level anymore, and have more 4-day cricket. We're not trying to build 4-day cricket as a brand. It's just an important skill to have in your toolbox as a cricket player going forward, because Test cricket's not going anywhere. And that's something to bear in mind.
Yeah, so that's really interesting topics that we have spoken about there. I want you guys to comment and talk about those in the comment section below, and obviously ask us some questions about it, and we can have a little bit debate. Alasdair likes to, of course, comment to you guys and have a chat with you guys in the comments. But Alasdair, I want you to bring up one more topic that you maybe want to discuss with us. With me, of course, if there's anything else, because I've led this debate now at the moment, but I would like you to bring out something that you have a concern about.
It isn't really a concern, but it's more a point that I've picked up during mainly the Australia series. Obviously there's talk about AB de Villiers, that he might come back, and Jonty Rhodes has made a few comments saying it might upset the team dynamic, and
I agree with him.
Absolutely, no. I think right now there's a quite a good early maturing phase of where this team is at. What strikes a chord with me is there's two factors, and David Miller plays a part in this. I've noticed a lot more of a leadership seniority role within the team group on the field from David Miller. I've seen while he was batting, not going out there. So while he was in partnership with Janneman Milan during his great century, he didn't take charge or try and bludgeon the ball. He took quick singles, and he just he was there, and you didn't even know he'd scored 30 runs. You blinked your eyes and he'd scored those 30 runs, but you didn't see him, and that's quite a good indication of a guy that's headspace is in the right spot, and it's good for the team, because often Miller's come in and it's been expected him to just up the run rate and bash, and then he's gotten out where he'll be the first guy to tell you that he has played the wrong shot, and he'll beat himself up about it, I'm sure. We all do when we play this game. But there's been quite a good leadership role, and also Heinrich Klaassen. Now, if one takes off their kind of where, if you're a Cobras fan or a Titans fan and all of that, you see how Heinrich Klaassen has also brought a calmness to the team. He's also played a bit of a key leadership role. You got de Kock. He's got to handle the media. He's got the gloves. He's on the field. He's watching every ball. There's a lot of pressure on him, and I think personally he's handling it well. He'll be the first guy to tell you that he won't give up the gloves because he's enjoying it. But what makes his job easier is that a Klaassen and a Miller are leadership within the field, and Maharaj also. He's a leader in his franchise. So
can I add to that Klaassen point quickly? I know, sorry for stopping you there again.
It's good.
Because with regards to Klaassen, and it's a lot of things got to do with obviously Mark Boucher himself, and they want to talk. There was major talks before Mark Boucher's appointment that they were afraid that he's going to disappoint all these Titans guys. What made me really understand, because I watch a lot of sports and I'm a big football fan as well, and there's a lot of talk in the football industry about what managers can do to bring the best out of players. Now, there was a press conference after Heinrich Klaassen scored that century, and he spoke about Mark Boucher, and he spoke about how he wants to play for the manager. And you'll hear a lot of the times when people spoke about Man United, the great Man United teams, when players used to say, we want to play for Alex Ferguson. We feel like, Everett is one of the first guys to say it. He'll say he would feel you'll feel hurt and that he let down the manager if he didn't perform. It was about letting down Sir Alex Ferguson. That's the respect that they had for him, and it's a similar respect that Heinrich Klaassen has for Mark Boucher, and the amount of confidence that it gave a player like him for us to be able to see what his true capabilities are and his true talent, because he spoke about how knowing that the coach backs you can increase your performance and how important that is.
Absolutely, and I think that also applies to Ashwell Prince. And you're seeing that in some of the Cobras players that are playing for the Proteas. And also Klaasen has said when he last played the international game, his head, pressure and he wasn't in the right spot, and he didn't deal with it in the right way. And here it's a completely changed man. Already has a working relationship as a leader for Barcher's team when he coached at the Titans. You're seeing that filter, and that's an infectious kind of, it filters down to the players. So you've got important leaders. Same with the Springboks again. I always use this example, and it's a big example.
Very good example.
Because if you looked at when the Springboks not won the World Cup, but in the 18-month build-up, there were 4 leaders on the team. 3 of them were in the forward pack, and there were a few in the back line. So having those leaders takes the pressure off the main leader, but the leader still leads by example. And I think that guys are backing Quinny, and they're backing what he believes in, and they're buying into a philosophy, and it's starting to mature now, and we'll probably see the benefit of those results in the next 2 years to come, because it's a young team, but it's got guys that think back to the beginning of the season. Would you have put these guys in the team? And now you're thinking, well, actually they deserve to be in that squad.
I mean, mustn't underestimate a guy like Enoch Nkwe and his influence on the Lions players in that side, like Temba Bavume especially. I know that Enoch backs Temba 100% and believes in Temba, and they have a very good relationship. So we mustn't discredit him for his influence on the side. I think that his ability, his style of cricket, I think it kind of coincides with Mark Boucher. There's a lot of talk about style of cricket in the world cricket in the game. We had Dane Finikek from the Proteas women's side talking about, we want to play our style of cricket. We don't want to focus on the opposition. It really did well for them during this work. I think they were really outdone by the rain. That was really heartbreaking to see the way they exited that World Cup. But we saw them playing their style of cricket, the style that they wanted to play.
It had a South African brand, a flavour, and it shone through.
Yeah. And we had Owen Morgan here at Newlands speak about the type of brand of cricket. And I know in white ball cricket, they're kind of the benchmark for everybody. Everybody wants to play like them. It's almost like when Man City came into the Premier League, that was the benchmark when people wanted to play like Manchester City and do the type of things that they were doing. Similarly with England in the World Cup, the way they played their cricket, the way they approach their cricket. But there's a particular thing that Owen Morgan said that really stood out to me, is that he said, yes, we want to play aggressive, attacking style of cricket, but he mentioned the word there, and he said smart. He said he wants to play aggressive, attacking, smart cricket, and that's where the key to, I think, to any successful team. If South Africa can play this brand of cricket but think on the field, like I feel that Janneman Malan's innings sum that all up. He's generally an attacking player. That's the style of cricket he is. He likes to bat in the power play, score a lot of runs in the power play, get off to a quick start. But the way he consolidated his innings, he waited until he got his 100, and then he just switched it on. So they built for the first 40 overs, and then the last 10 overs, 5 to 10 overs, they just went for it. So I think that got a lot to do with the influence that the coaching setup has had on him. I know, speaking to Janneman, that he said that Jacques Kallis has had a major influence on his batting, and he's brought his new style of taking videos and looking back at those videos. I've seen him at the net session. I've saw Janneman bring that camera to the similar type of methods, asking people to take videos of him batting. He's obviously communicating with Jacques, and Boucher and Jacques are obviously on the same page. So
the scary thing with Janneman is we're not even close to seeing the finished product.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Hugely crazy. Yeah.
I mean, remember, I want you guys to take note that Janneman actually his claim to fame was in first class cricket for Northwest, when he scored 1,000 runs in one season, and that's actually what his claim to fame was in the 3-day competition, and he won a CSA amateur award for that, and that's when the Cobras pounced and brought him over here to be with his brother Peter Malan, and it's a great call. Alasdair, anything else you want to...
No, all good. You nailed it. I think it was a good way to end with Janneman. He's a shining light, and I look forward to seeing more. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. That's what we have in our great discussion. I don't know what we're going to call it yet. Maybe you guys can maybe give us some name suggestions in the show down in the comment section below. Please, guys, comment. We'd like to hear your point of view. I want to reiterate again, that this platform is for all fans to be able to give their opinions, whether it is in the comment section, whether you guys want to send in your pieces into us at our email address at cricketfanaticsmag@gmail.com. You guys can send in your pieces, and maybe we will have to screen them and check before we put them up. We've got some great content coming out, some new writers that are writing for us, some new content producers, the usual messiah that we're going to speak. So just keep your eye out on all the content that we're producing. We have to thank you guys for the amazing support. We're hitting almost 10,000 subscribers or followers on Facebook, etc. We're doing really well with regards to our website and our magazine. So guys, please support. Don't forget to subscribe to our weekly magazine where we update you on everything that happened in the previous week. We try to give you a little peek in the future of what's happening in the following week. So guys, we would like to hear your views. Put them in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the flip side. Thanks guys.